who speaks with power. Quick one. With the statement released by the president's spokesperson, Anjuri Ngulele, on the MDA situation. Let's have a listen, shall we? Let's have a listen.
And it contained the president's directive to the MDAs. And in that, it says here, if we could pick it up, all MDAs have been directed to take responsibility and provide monthly budget performance reports to the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, which in turn shall ensure the veracity of such. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy shall hold regular reviews with the economic management team, and in addition, I, as the President, shall chair periodic economic coordination council meetings. So he's giving the MDAs the marching orders now. Besides him saying earlier on in that retreat, you put simply or paraphrasing, you shape up or you shape out. So he's again saying here now that he's going to be presiding over so many things. It means that we expect a lot from the ministries, the MDAs now. So when you read this kind of narrative, how do you see this playing out?
Well, I think this is very good that is coming from the president himself. Because you see, running government affairs, particularly running the MDAs, you have various levels of leadership. The president sits right at the top, and the image of the president, his omnipresence, is actually through the ministers. Every minister represents the president in that sector. And that's why the Constitution itself says every state should contribute a minister, meaning once you have a minister, you have a president's present in your state, and therefore, So then the MDAs, many of the parastatals and the agencies are under the minister. There are some which are extra ministerial, they are under the president. So for the president to say, look, I have signed the budget, meaning I've allocated resources for you on the planned programs within this fiscal year, and I will not condone any laziness and so on and so forth. It is the president asking for people to be technically prepared. You cannot deliver this if you are not you're not shaped up to be a leader. A minister should work very closely with their permanent secretary. The permanent secretary should have all their directors coagulated as a team. Once you have frictions between minister and permanent secretary, this particular directive may not go down very, very well. So as a leader, you have to calm down. There are instances when you need to condense to a level. There are instances where you need to pop up to a level so that you come at par, And that's why you have to hold management meetings. Your plans should be very well, your procurement plan.
Yeah, we hear all that. The question, do you think that that's what's going to happen? Will this meeting take place? And how do we, as the citizens, how do we have oversight of what the president is saying? Because ultimately the president is answerable to you and I. We are the sovereigns. That's why I keep saying what I'm saying in terms of the Constitution, 14.2a. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this Constitution, derives all its powers and authority. We need to demonstrate that authority. Now, everything that's been saying now, it's in English. Why is it in Yoruba, for all our local languages? This should be disseminated in all our communities to make sure that this message that is trying to put across cascades through all our entire society, so we all feel engaged in part of that process and be ready to actively hold each of those ministers to account, and indeed the president himself. That's what I would say. That's what I would expect. But the proof of the pudding is in the eating. For me, what I'm seeing right now is it's saying the things in the right direction, but it will all come out in the wash, as in it's in the execution process of what he's stating that we will know if they are serious or not. But in the meantime, before that happens, I am very, very insistent that we, the people, begin to participate in that process, because up until now, our governance has sort of did things and not been accountable, because we, the citizens, we have been programmed to be bystanders, and we need to change that mindset. And this is something we need to prepare ourselves for being able to hold our governors to account at every level, right from the local community to the to the federal level. And I happen to think this is really showing the need for us to actually have this devolved powers. And part of that devolved powers is that we, the citizens on the ground in those communities, we must demonstrate our powers of sovereignty in holding our local government to account to us, because we are the sovereigns. And that's why you will see I talk about the need for having this constitution translated into our local languages as a matter of urgency. I think that's really important, and I think it's something we must do. And even when we do, my plan and what I'm looking for, long term, is to achieve Yoruba Nation. Even when we achieve Yoruba Nation, yes, we'll be speaking one language. In some respects, that will be better. And in Yoruba land, we must be speaking Yoruba language. So you can see that we are preparing. When we talk about you having the constitution in your language, we are preparing ground for when we get to Yoruba Nation. Because in having Yoruba and the Constitution of Nigeria as it currently constituted in Yoruba, for people to understand, it means that now people are involved in that process in Yoruba, and they can just continue as normal with that process when we now become Yoruba Nation. It's a long process, but in the meantime, this is why I'm saying it is important. Everything the government does now, they can do whatever, they will make promises. Unless and until we, the citizens, begin to hold them to account. The accountability part of it requires us, the citizens, to become active participants in our governance. I know it's alien to our culture. It is alien because that's what we've been programmed to do. That's what we're trying to break. We need to break that mindset. Those mindsets are put in place by these religious entities, put in our minds from the age of 4 onwards. And we must dismantle that community by community. So that's where the work is. All the promises or the statements made here, it will count for nothing unless and until we, the citizens, become active participants in this process. That is the missing link in any of the changes that we want. We must become active participants, and we don't have to speak English to participate. That's the point. We need to know the constitution in our local languages. I hope that makes sense. That's why I'm really talking about this. I hope this makes some sense. So the MDAs and having personal responsibility, that's an in-house thing. The accountability to the people is still the missing link. And that is why I advocate for us having, let me show you briefly what I mean. I think you may have seen it. Is that it? Okay, so this is in English here. And as you know, since 1999, for example, the Constitution has been in English. And interestingly, this bears out what I'm saying. It has been in English since 1999. Now, what has been the role of the citizens in our governance from 1999 to date? It has been the one of a bystander, because the language of the Constitution has been in English. Now, fast forward to a time when this will be the case. So in Yoruba land, every part of Yoruba land would have the Constitution in Yoruba. So anybody in Yoruba community can read their Constitution of their nation in their language. They don't have to wait to go and learn English first. They can already do it in their own language. That is a leg up straight away right there. You've opened the door to enable the people in our communities to participate in that process. And that changes the dynamics. It means that those in government cannot use English to keep the citizens whom they are ultimately responsible to away from the government process. That is the key thing. That I am absolutely certain is the way to go. Whether we go for Yoruba Nation or stay in Nigeria, the missing ingredient remains the lack of participation of the people in their government on a daily basis. And to change that, we need the constitution in our local languages. I know it's a bit of a long-winded way of me talking about this, but we needed to talk about something that's relevant, that's going on, that's current. This thing about the MD and the directives by the president, that's all well and good. But unless and until we, the citizens, are part of that process by using the powers we currently possess under Section 14.2a, which I will quickly read to you in Yoruba to demonstrate what I'm saying so you will understand it, is this. You need to understand, our people need to know that under Section 14.2a, I'll read it in Yoruba and I'll then translate it in English so you'll get a good understanding of what I mean. Now, in every community, if we go on this drive whereby we begin to empower people at local level in their language to know that they can hold their elected officials account using the powers of sovereignty that they possess as citizens, to use those powers and begin to actually question them and encouraging that. And we have to do demonstration, a lot of training. That's why we're calling for and trying to put this idea about the constitutional champions, particularly in our local languages, to drive that awareness of the powers we possess. So, 14.2a in Yoruba. Ìjọba jẹ́ ti àwọn ènìyàn Nàìjíríà láti ọ̀dọ̀ ẹni síjọba nípasẹ̀ òfin orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ń gba gbogbo agbára àti àṣẹ rẹ̀. You see, that is very important for you to understand. So in essence, I'm saying sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. Now, when people hear that in their language, they are more likely to remember it. They're more likely to know, okay, I have the power to question those we elect into office. When you say it in English, it rolls off the tongue like that. But the people who need to use those powers, they instantly feel removed from the process. That is what I'm trying to really emphasize, and hopefully we can begin to use that as a template in each of our communities. All 187, I believe, local government areas need this process, and that's why we need to bed this in from the ground up. The second part of it, obviously, is 14.2c. Ìkópa nípasẹ̀ àwọn ènìyàn ní ìjọba wọn gbọ́dọ̀ rí dájú ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú àwọn ìpèsè ti yí orílẹ̀-èdè. So again, it talks about the participation by the people in the government shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. So you can see now, when people understand that in their language, they're more likely to engage in that process. When you speak in English, like you will see on the screen, let me quickly just go back to the picture. A perfect example of this. You will see the word roll off on the screen. Let me just make sure I mute that, because I don't want it to speak. I just wanted to just show you what they spoke about. Okay. 1 second. I will find it. I'm just trying to... There is something I'm trying to really... here we go. So the minute people see this and it's in English, psychologically you switch off. And I'm trying to walk you through a process. The minute you see this in English on the screen and you are in a community where you are in Ogun State, you are in Oyo, as soon as you see that in the screen, you are automatically switched off. This is actually having a physical impact on you right there and then. Oh, Kinotun Sombi, what are they saying? I don't speak English. straight away you are removed from the process. But imagine when you were seeing what is on screen, it is in your language. You can read it. So, good example is what I've just done. You start seeing this in English. It starts in Yoruba. You are automatically, oh, wọ́n sọ kankan báyìí, kí ni mo rí? So you start following it, and automatically it's like somebody's opened the door. Having the constitution in your language is like somebody giving you a door in which you can now open to get involved in the process without having to have all these studies and get your English. It's a way, it levels the field. If we're going to have development, and many of our people who are very, very talented, they don't necessarily have to speak English, but the talent is in them, even in their language. You see, we are denying ourselves opportunity for development if we continue to allow foreign language to be used to govern us, whilst the people who are the sovereigns are removed from the process of governance. So I am very, very clear in my thinking that we need to have the constitution translated into our local languages. Now, many people will say, "Oh, it's outlandish and everything else," but right now, as I speak to you, the Quran is in Yoruba, the Bible is in Yoruba. Those things are in Yoruba, so the people they know it. They know those things, and they believe those things. They are more engaged in that because it's in their language. Now, equally, if they put the constitution in Yoruba, the people will be equally more engaged. I just told you exactly what I mean. When you see it on the screen on your phone and you see it in Yoruba, you're gonna be, oh yes, yes. Then you can begin to you can have it on your phone and show it to your commissioners, your local government chairman, your state of assembly, house of reps. So that way you become engaged and be able to be more confident and participating in the process. So anyway, that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts on what I just said? It's good that the President Tinubu is, tasking the MDAs with more accountability, and he's going to chair the meetings. That's great. But the highest office in the land that is missing in this process is we, the people. We are the highest office in the land, and we must participate in that process. And I state that the words that you saw on the screen there must, in local areas, they must automatically simultaneously translate it into local languages so people will feel part of the process. When you are in a village and you see this on the screen, it's in English. You can't read English in a village. So you just think, oh, it's a government law that doesn't relate to me. But if it's in your language, like I said, just see on the screen. I'm giving you a good demonstration of how this would actually change our mindset. You see it in Yoruba, it jumps out, especially when you start reading it. Oh, the women, everybody, okay, oh, I knew they were out. I'm okay, they can call it, and you start, you become part of the process. We are being removed from the process for too long. Since 1999, that's got to change. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Please subscribe to Citizen AY on YouTube. Here you go. So go ahead and subscribe, hit notification button, give us a thumbs up. What do you think about this initiative that we are trying to put forward? What are your thoughts about this initiative? I'm very, very clear about that as Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. And I really I want to kickstart this again. I know because of all of the things that are going on under Yoruba Nation, a lot of people have actually pulled back from engaging. And I think we will need to reconnect to this, being very, very clear that our goal still remains Yoruba Nation. But to achieve that, this kind of thing you see on the screen must be what our people have as a way to get in, as a way to be able to understand the process in their language. The market women, the farmer, the guard for the farms, the vulcanizers, the buka owners, the hairdresser, the shoemaker, the clothes maker, all of the local businesses, the hawker, the street hawker, all of them being able to know the constitution and the language, it changes the way that the people engage with their government, and also it puts those in government on their toes. It's doing a simultaneous work there. Those in government can no longer just go, oh, I've just said that. It's, people will just take my word for it. They know they are going to be checked and they will be questioned, and we must encourage that. What are your thoughts on that? You're watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Today is the 2nd of January 2024. Happy New Year to you all, and may we all achieve our heart's desires. But I'm here to just reiterate again and bring this on board for us to understand that the change we seek has to start within each of our communities, and it is the foundation of that has to be that the laws of the land, be it Nigeria, be it Yoruba land, has to be in our local, translated into our local languages in order to facilitate the engagement of our people confidently in being able to hold those they elect into office to account. Without that, you can make all the plans you want, you can make everything at top level. There is no cascading downwards. And that is what is missing. Cascading and encouraging people to hold those they elect into office to account at every level. It's absent. Thank you for watching. You've been watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Please do share this podcast if it resonates with you. Thank you so much, and bye for now. Please subscribe, hit notification button, and give us a thumbs up. Thank you, and bye for now.